Before we use tennis balls, we actually use these light soccer balls because they travel through the air slower and the children can have a better chance of making contact with them and getting better control. So they're very light and easy to control for the children. So with the introduction of the racket, we ask the children to hold it like this where they can see the nails on their hand that they write with. Now for the purpose of the video, I will use my right hand, as most children are right-handed. So again, the racket sits into your hand, nails showing, and we ask the children just to balance the ball first and have their non-playing hand out to the side just for balance. A tennis player has to be balanced. So you're balancing your body and you're balancing the ball. Once this has been established, and actually just to note as well, some children might find this difficult, so we get them just to hold the ball with their hand and stop it from moving until eventually they might get confident enough to take it away. And once we can start doing this, they start to walk around the hall, balancing the ball on the racket, holding it with this grip. Just like this, turning around. They can go through little obstacles on the ground like cones or drop down lines, so they're zigzagging across like this. Basically getting used to this grip and keeping the ball on the racket. Once this is established, we ask them then to put the ball into their non-playing hand and simply toss it up gently, let it bounce in front of them and get them to bend their knees again. And what we call is sandwiching the ball. So the ball is like in between two slices of bread. So you're sandwiching the ball with your hand and the racket. Bending your knees, tossing up gently. Some children will toss too high or too far to the side. Just get them gently to toss, again, away from their stomach, out in front, and gently so the ball doesn't go very far. Once it bounces, get them to bend their knees and get the timing of the sandwich right. Some children will find that difficult, so you just got to keep at it. And if they're having a lot of problems, just ask them to bend down quite low and do it much lower. So all children should be getting this after a while. Once that's established, I will ask them to toss the ball up again, go into their athletic position, which is a position looking like this, bending their knees. Same grip again. They should be able to see their nails at the side of the grip. Pop the ball up. When it bounces, they're going to gently tap it up, leave it bounce a second time, and then sandwich again. So it would look like this. Toss up, bounce, tap up, bounce, sandwich. This might take some children a number of weeks. I know it seems easy, but it takes them quite a while to get to grasp this. Some kids will get it immediately, just depends on the child. I'm not the least bit concerned about whether or not or how long it takes them to do it. They learn in their own time, so each child is going to learn at different stages. So again, the racket is just out here by my side. Pop up, I'm going to bend my knees as it bounces, tap it up, bounce, catch. Sandwich. When the ball is bouncing, the racket will go from this position to under, and that's why we have this grip here. It's comfortable. So watch the racket doing that again. Racket by my side. Look, some kids will have it here. I would suggest bringing it nearer to the ball. Now the racket will go into this position as the ball is coming back up from the bounce. Tap up, bounce, catch. From here, the child will progress on to 2 tap-ups. So I'll toss it up, bend my knee, tap up 1, tap up 2, bounce, sandwich. Always give a finish to the task. Otherwise they'll keep on going and then lose control and you won't achieve anything. Always have the task to end with a finish so that there's something achieved, and then you can progress on to 3 taps and 4 taps, etc. And that way they'll start to get success. Very quickly then, in tennis, obviously, you have to hit the ball on your right side and left side. So we'll turn the racket upside down. So now the knuckles and the back of your hand is showing. So here we go. Non-playing hand holds the ball. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky, but we get the children to try this as well. So I'm going to try and do the sandwich thing again. So I'm going to pop the ball up like this, leave it bounce, and sandwich. And actually just before that too, of course, you'll have them just balancing. So I will suggest your non-playing hand goes under and the good hand goes down on top, the hand that they're right with. So just a bit of a balance first. If it's starting to fall, just get them to do that and gradually get them to have their non-playing hand on the racket. This should be done over on the non-dominant side of the body. So in this case here it's the left side, and again just balancing for a while, walking around, etc. So again, moving on to the sandwich part, it's just a toss up, bounce, sandwich. So that happens in front of their body. Have a look again. Up, bend your knees, sandwich. So the progression on from this is toss up, bounce, and when it bounces, their hand will be placed onto the grip, and it'll tap up with two hands, and then the sandwich. So a little bit tricky, but it's worth practicing at home, especially for the younger children. So toss it up, two hands on the racket, tap it up, bounce, sandwich. Task finished. That might take a long time. Be patient with them. Just show them, demonstrate, and always pick out the things that are causing the most problems. Like for example, the toss could be wrong. The tap up could be just hitting or something. So try and find the basic thing that's going wrong and work on that, and don't be jumping ahead too far. Toss up, two hands on, tap up, bounce, sandwich. And that will progress on then of course to tap up, sandwich. You're then looking at going back to this other way of holding the racket with the nails showing up. That's the one hand side, dominant side. You're looking to do tapping up continuously, bending your knees as the ball bounces, and then I get them to put their non-dominant hand out to the side for balance. Now when you're doing these, I don't have much room here, but ideally try and get them to do it by their side, like this maybe more by their side. And for this one, on the non-dominant side, the two-hand side, two hands on the racket, just place the ball on the strings, flick it up, and there you go. Now they're learning to control the ball themselves with a racket and ball. So I will then move them onto the wall, and they will simply go into this position of racket behind your back, toss the ball gently, bend your knees as it drops, and I will hit up gently to the wall, leave it back, bounce onto the ground, and then do sandwich again. Bounce, tip up, bounce, sandwich. Bounce, tip up, bounce, sandwich. Try to get them to hit the ball at their side and in front, like we practiced the catching earlier in the other video. Tap it up, or pop it up, tap forward, and catch, sandwich. For this side, the child will have to put the racket into their non-dominant hand, pop the ball up with this hand. When you pop it up, your dominant hand goes on the part of the grip here, knuckles on top, and you do the hit part. So racket and non-dominant hand, pop it up, bounce, tap, bounce, sandwich. So two hands will go on now. Like as soon as I throw the ball up, two hands will go on the racket, and I'll bend my knees and I'll tap it forward with two hands on the racket and sandwich. And that will continue on hopefully to a rally like that. You're trying to get the child to control the speed and the direction, and that can be done by aiming the strings properly at the target. You can also throw a ball to a child who's in a ready position like this, and you're just standing only a couple of feet back. Pop a ball gently, and all they do is tap. Use the word tap instead of hit. Hit, they'll swing. Just a tap, and show them that all they need, all that's required for a good shot in tennis is a small little movement with your arm. Here, here. The children in the classes now in the schools are getting quite good at all this. So they're getting very close now to being able to rally on their own to the wall and work out, if it goes to the other side of their body, to use two hands. And one hand on the down instead. And of course if they're left-handed, just one hand here and two hands there. So that's it, really. It's all about controlling the speed, direction and the height, contact point in front and at their side. That's where you get the shots going straight, or not here, or not too far in front. Roughly about a foot in front of their hip, foot and a half maybe. That's it for the time being anyway.